Chapter 17 Steps in Worship. The practice begins with doing the Nyasa of the mantra Gananam Tva Ganapati Havamahe Kavim Kavinam Upamashravastamam Jeshta Rajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Ana Stunvan Nutibisi Dasadanam Om Maha Ganapate Namaha. And the Ganesh Gayatri mantra. Nyasa is the process of invocation of the mantra by touching certain parts of the body while chanting the mantra. One should perform the Shadanga Nyasa of the mantra. The next step is to perform the 16th step worship of the idol of the deity. The entire procedure of the puja has already been described. Two methods prescribed in the Shastras are the japaanga puja or the Puja Anga Japa. Anyone who has adopted as instructed by the Sadguru can do the type of puja as instructed. The japa process can be done first followed by the puja, or the puja can be done first followed by the japa. Sthira chitto japen mantram yatha guru mukhodgatam japam nivedya devaya stutva stotrera nekadam. Shri Gajanan Prabhu then explains in the 16th verse the procedure for doing japa. He says, after surrendering to a Sadguru as per the Vedic traditions, the Sadhak should get himself initiated into the mantra. He should do the japa of the mantra received from the Sadguru at the time of initiation. The path of worship gives the follower the experience of actualization of the deity of worship. A Sadguru explains concisely the steps in worship which he himself has experienced. The sadhak follows the same process with discipline until he becomes completely satisfied, since there is no other service or method to be followed. As Sri Yogendra Maharaj says, meditate on the idol through contemplating on the glory of the knowledge therein, while chanting the japa. Do the spiritual practice in this manner, conclude the meditation with a manas puja and say the stotras in praise of the deity. Surrender the japa karma to me. Thereafter, at the end, in the latter part, do meditation, manas puja, etc. After saying Rajadi Raja here, etc., and other stotras, extolling the praise, surrender the japa karma to the Lord, King Varenya. These are the steps which my devotee should closely watch and adhere to. Yoga Vasishtha mentions 7 roles of knowledge to achieve of which the first is Shubhecha, meaning auspicious intention, which is accomplished with the worship of Ganesha. Evam mam ya upasita labhen moksham avyayam ya upasana hino dingnaro vyartha janma bhav. In the next verse, he speaks about the need for worship. Shri Gajanan Prabhu says, one who worships me according to the Shastras definitely attains liberation and is non-differentiated from self-bliss. After getting a human birth, if a person does not use it to worship me, then it is comparable to a donkey. All living beings do actions only for the enjoyment of the body. The capacity to discriminate what is best is possible only for man. If he leaves the nectar aside and all his efforts are engaged only in sensual pleasures, then he is deserving of scorn. Yajnyo hamaushadam mantro virajyam chaha virhutam dhyanam dheyastutistotram natir bhaktirupasanam. Shri Gajanan Prabhu says, with a purified mind consciousness matter, through my worship, a devotee attains the siddhi of seeing Brahma's presence everywhere. How does that state look like? How is it that all creation, which is made up of the 5 primordial elements, be the form of Ganesha itself? Take the hypothesis that mind-conscious substance everywhere is Ganesha. The form of yajna is Ganesha. The medicinal plants, mantra, fire, and other offerings in the yajna fire, and that which is going to be burnt in the fire, are all forms of Ganesha, since everything is done for his sake. So, it naturally follows that it shall end also in Ganesha. Therefore, it becomes the form of Ganesha. Traikneyam pavitram cha pitamaha pitamaha omkara pavanam sakshi prabhurmitram gatirlayaha. In the same way, the triad of gunas, sattva, rajas and tamas, and the three states are all Ganesha in various forms. Knowledge of all things, including those which have still to be known, is also Ganesha. The different kinds of purity, the fatherliness of the Father, the eldest among all elders, the origin of all, the Omkar, all things auspicious, the holy places, the witness in the hearts of all, the Lord of all kingdoms, the friend who is a benefactor, everything is Ganesha. Utpatti poshako bijam sharanam vasa evacha asan mrityu sadmritatma brahma ahamevacha. The Shukla Krishna Gati and the state of dissolution are all Ganesha. In short, Ganesha is omnipresent and becomes everything, since he plays about in everything. He is the origin of all. The place of stay, the home, is Ganesha's form. Understand that everything is connected to Ganesha's form. This instruction is threaded through the whole conversation. Danam homastapo bhukti japaswadhyaya evacha madhyat karoti tat sarva me mai nivedayet. Shri Gajanan Prabhu says, there are several Homa rituals and different kinds of tapa. All offerings, including the different types of food, the mantra japa and all types of self-study, should be done in surrender to me, Ganesha. Using various ways, Ganesha assumes lordship over the jiva and of his own desire expresses himself through the jiva. The jivas take this as their duty and their benevolence is preserved in the same. The Shastras throw light on the various procedures and processes according to his orders. To follow them is to please Paramatma, who takes us higher and higher. If the sum and substance of everything is the form of Ganesha himself, and everything is to be surrendered to him, then is there anything that is ours that we can lose? The Sadhak who connects firmly to this feeling in his heart, while dealing with everything, attains the eye of wisdom. Thus, in this manner, the second role of knowledge mentioned in the Yoga Vasishta of Vicharana is attained. Shri Gargi Maharshi writes on the same subject. Shri Gajanan Prabhu instructs King Varenya that when the sadhak worships me by taking guidance of the Shastras, he gets purified internally and becomes deserving of contemplating on Brahma. He finds out how he becomes bound and how he can be free. He holds on steadily to the all-encompassing form of Ganesha, because the doer and the one who gets things done is Ganesha himself. Therefore, he wisely chooses to do everything in an attitude of surrender to Ganesha. Yoshito durachara papastraivarnikastata madashraya vimuchyante kimmad bhaktya dvijadaya. Special instructions about the girl child. Shri Gajanan Prabhu says, generally by nature ladies are devoid of impressions, but when they follow dharma they become deserving of my support. Listen to what their dharma is. As per the Shastras, from the time of birth of a girl child till she attains the age of 6, gods such as Chandra, Gandharva, celestial beings and fire have a right over her. What this means is that for every 2 years, the 3 gods enjoy her. Therefore, the marriage of a daughter should not be performed during that period. These gods are annoyed if this is done. The daughter can be married from the ages of 7, 8, 9 or 10. After 10, she is under the influence of the seasons and she is known as Rajaswala. In this stage, if the lady is unmarried, her father has to bear the sin equivalent to killing a fetus every month. It is considered a Brahmahatya. After her marriage, the daughter should remain in a paternal house till she has her menses, or she can come and go between her in-laws and mother's house. After menstruation, she can stay at her in-laws' place according to her husband's instructions. The husband is God for her. She need not worship any other god or observe any vrat. It means that she does not have to do anything different. She should do her vrat to God and service of the guests, etc., as per her husband's instructions. When she gets her menstruating periods, she should inform her husband, who should act according to her wishes. If her husband neglects or disrespects her, he shall be as sinful as killing a child. If the husband dies after she has given birth to a son, she has to take the dharma of a widow to take care of the child. She should not immolate herself in the funeral pyre of her husband. If at the time of her husband's death the lady is having menses, she should not immolate herself. On the 4th day after bath, she can serve her husband. On the 5th day, when she is completely clean, she can do her worship and serve guests and resume other household duties. During the 3 days of her menses, she should not have a bath. She should fast or have only one meal. She should take food on a leaf or a plantain leaf, sleep on the floor, and remain aloof from others, such that no one sees her during these 3 days. She should have a bath on the 4th day. If some unforeseen work comes up which she is required to do, she should pound 32 mounds of rice standing on the 3rd day and then have a head bath. She is then considered pure to do the work. Nevertheless, she is clean only after a bath on the 4th day. In this manner, there are several rules that have to be known and followed. Till the age of 50, a lady should follow the restrictions of Grahastha ashram. It is all right to bear a child during this period, but a husband can take to Vanaprastha ashram. If the children are small and need to be looked after, she should remain back and allow her husband to go if he so desires. After the children have grown up and are able to handle themselves, she can join her husband in the forest and serve him. There is also no harm if she chooses to live with a son. If her husband expresses his desire to take up sannyas while staying in the forest, she should definitely give him permission. She could return and stay with her son or choose to live with her husband in the forest, performing various kinds of austerities. The Dharmashastras say that a widow should follow her dharma. She should keep her hair and wear the upper garments. Now I shall briefly tell you about the dharma of a widow. After the death of her husband, a lady devoted to her husband should give up her hair and upper garments, indicators of her femininity, and spend her time in the worship of God. She should observe different kinds of tapas. She should cook her own food, eat on a leaf, sleep on the floor, and subjugate herself. A lady who follows the dharma will attain a good gati after death. It will lead to the ascent of her husband as well. If she is my devotee, then she will stay along with her husband in Swananda Loka. A lady who has forsaken her dharma for some reason and falls down can still ascend if she seeks my support. Or a man who has digressed and fallen can also ascend by taking my support. Many incidents of this nature have occurred. Listen. On a Chaturthi day, one Chandal, of a woman of a low caste, had drunk liquor and was sleeping. She woke up after moonrise. She had not taken any food or water that day, and so had unknowingly fasted on Chaturthi. She was uplifted. There was a Brahmin named Buddh who was a big sinner. He was born in a business family. He heard the name of Gajanan and was uplifted. There was a Chandali who was trying to keep herself warm by burning a bundle of grass and twigs. It so happened that a Durvankur flew out of the bundle and fell on my idol nearby. It was as though she had made an offering of my favorite leaf. She got the benefit of serving me and was uplifted. At the same place, a donkey and a bull were fighting with each other. They started eating the grass. A few pieces of durva fell out from their mouth and happened to fall on my idol. As a result, they were uplifted. There are several such famous stories in the Ganesh Puran. Whatever may be the incidental reason, he begins to experience a spirit of service which gets strengthened in due course. Anyone born as a Kshatriya, Vaishya or a Shudra, irrespective of his birth, is redeemed. Then why should a person being born in a Brahmin family, who follows his dharma as prescribed, whether he may be a brahmachari, grahastha, vanaprastha or a sannyasi, sadhak, and does my worship, sing my bhajans, not get free? They will most certainly become free. This is the meaning contained in Kim Madbhaktya Dvaja Dayaha. The best of devotees become completely liberated. The sadhaks who are liberated while living live for the upliftment of the society. That is why I take care of their needs and establish them here on earth. Besides, they should also get sufficient time on earth to spend in my worship and be in my service. I make plans and arrangements for that, since their stories itself are evidence of their absolute devotion, which I like very much. King Varenya expressed his doubt over the contradiction that he could see in real life. He asked, "It is often found that a sadhak might be very devoted to you, but occasionally his behavior is questionable and not expected of him. Why should that happen? How can the intellect of your devotee permit him to behave like that? Please clarify this doubt of mine." Sins of transgression. Sri Gajanan Prabhu replied, "Just as the merits of devotion to me are high, so are the sins of transgressions. They can bring unpleasant experiences. I-ness and attachment to ego is like being caught in a trap of vicissitudes, which can catch even knowledgeable sadhaks on the wrong foot. But then some sadhaks are so single-minded in their devotion to me that they do not differentiate between what I like and what I do not like. They are equanimous. In that forgetfulness or adequate precaution, they may do contradictory actions. All those are deemed transgressions which defiles the intellect. But if due to a lack of awareness they continue with such transgressions, then they ultimately become a habit, and then I too cannot redeem them from their plight. Since their actions outrage me, I cannot redeem them from their sins. Listen, I will tell you the story of Sama the hunter. Once, out of sheer ignorance, he did the Chaturthi Vrat, which has the power of dissolving all sins. But on that Chaturthi day, he murdered 4 Brahmins. Those remained as sins, since sins done on that day are immutable. Therefore, he did not attain Swananda Loka. But to enjoy the merits of actions done, he was sent to Ganesh Loka in Kailash Loka. Later, on rebirth, he became a king and thereafter had to undergo the result of those immutable sins. I'll tell you another story. This is when Brahmadeva performed a yajna in the holy place of Mahabaleshwar. They forgot to perform my puja first. This was a transgression. As a result, all the gods were converted into water due to the curse of Savitri. They lost their godliness. For redemption of their gods, their wives did intense penance, due to which the gods got back their godliness. But physically they remained in the form of water. This was how rivers like Krishna, Venya, etc. came to be known. This is how powerful transgressions can impact. It takes great penance to be redeemed from them. When I redeemed the Chandali donkey, bullock and others, they had no knowledge of my form or glory or the rules and processes of my worship. Therefore, there was no possibility of any transgression happening through them, because Nyatva Ulanganam Bhavati, meaning transgression is knowingly not doing or doing what is totally against. Therefore, I redeem them only if they worship me appropriately. Nama became Brushandi, the best of Siddhas. There were 2 Rakshasas named Bhimvyad and Pingaksha who were great sinners. But due to some reason, some shami leaves fell from their hands onto my idol and all their sins were redeemed. And they became free from the cycle of birth and death. In short, whoever does my puja and remembers me in their meditation, I clean them of all their sins. But if some transgression happens through them, I cannot uplift them, as that is not in my hands. If he happens to be my devotee, it's his misfortune. Na vinashyati mad bhakto jnatve mam mad vibhutayah prabhavam me vibhutischa na deva rishayo viduhu. Shri Gajanan Prabhu says, Vishnu, Shiva and other gods are worshipful and highly powerful regulators of the universe. Their capability is due to the strength of Ganeshwar. They are the bearers of his spirit. Similarly, a knowing gets established in the subtle body of my devotees, which is due to the non-differentiated nature of my being. That is why I am their Lord. Just as all the gods are bearers of the threefold qualities, I am the totality of all gunas without any differentiation. I am the Omkar, which is my form with attributes. All others are famous as forms of Brahma, and since I am their Lord, I am addressed as Brahmanaspati in the Vedas. My devotees who know me never get lost. Why will they give up Swananda Loka in favor of Kailash or Vaikunta? They sing my bhajans and do not sacrifice my devotion for any other enchantment. Knowing that Shiva, Vishnu and others have my spirit within them, my devotees carry on their devotion to me without a break. I am the Jagat Brahma who carries on the work of this whole world. Shri Gargya Maharshi reiterates that Ganesha's devotees know for sure that Shiva and other gods like the Sheshnag are most excellent as they have my spirit. They are all bearers of my splendor. Through Vishnu I am the sustainer, through Shiva I am the destroyer, through Brahmadev I carry on the work of creation, through Surya I spread light everywhere, through Shakti I endow capability and nourishment, through the Samrats I rule the world, and through Shesh I carry the weight of the Bhumi. My powers are present everywhere. Therefore I am the first worshipped by all. I absorb everybody's service. This is my only work. I do not do any action with my hands. Everyone does the work through my orders. As long as the work is done as per my orders, it goes on without any obstacles. All beings and actions involving the three gunas enjoy the glory of Kailash or Vaikunt and other lokas. As Brahma, they are one with me. But if they become proud and arrogant of their powers, they face all kinds of obstacles that can destroy their position. They are bereft of all happiness and become destitute. Then, when they become alert once again and start worshipping me, I give them back their splendor. Then once again they become endowed with all joys and their work goes on. Being endowed with my splendor is their subservience. I am an independent bearer of power, the absolute Swanandavasi. No one has ever heard of any force destroying my position or giving it back to me. So, getting proper knowledge and worshipping me makes my best devotees. They are never destroyed. It does not happen that way, that they leave my worship for any enchantment. Since my spirit is widespread, there is every possibility of it changing every moment. This makes it difficult for God or Rishi to really know them. My influence is that I am the origin of all creation. I exist in the form of Tat and I am the power of my own self. Other influential powers have their source in my own form. That kind of splendor which carries my glory within is very vast and inconceivable. The absolute greatness is not known to anyone. Nana vibhuti biraham vyapya vishvam pratishtitam yadyat shreshtatamam loke sa vibhutir nibodhame. Shri Gajanan Prabhu says, I am surrounded everywhere by different kinds of spirit. That is how this whole world is established. I am verily the Atman. Parabrahma and my going and coming does not happen. I understand the mystery that it is through this spirit that I have established this world. Basically, 44 elements are essential to manifest in a particular form. Various forms have been created from my spirit and the basic elements. But apart from these elements, my spirit is non-differentiated and supports the whole grandiose as I run the world. The jivas should get fruits of their actions. I have created and established the gods who are the dwarabhut for bestowing the fruits of karma. Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva are endowed with the absolute, non-differentiated form of sattva, rajas, and tamo gunas, respectively. Therefore, they are of the nature of my ganas, portion of my powers, expressing my spirit. The king of the collective is Indra, so he is one gana in the undivided form who expresses my spirit. Each one in their own respective field is absolute, undivided, and is addressed as Brahma. Since they get completed or attain fullness in my form, I am hailed as Brahmanaspati. For this reason, they should be considered as my spirit itself. In this manner, through the Dwarabhut represented by the Ganas, I carry on the work of the world. In the whole world, all those who are considered the greatest are my spirit. The secret therein is that I have given them the powers, so they are like my rubber stamps. With that power, they carry on all the work of the whole world. If by any chance they become proud, I take away the powers bestowed on them. They become defiled of their positions. But there is no one who steals away my power or who grants me my powers. There is no mention of it in any of the Shastras or in the Puranas of other gods. I am praised as Vignaraj, the Lord of obstacles, creator as well as destroyer of obstacles. This is one of my main powers, by the strength of which I get the work of the entire world going. Performing my puja or remembering me first, before starting anything, is the authority, the rubber stamp, so to say, that I have given to all. With that, anyone who serves me and who listens to my orders to them, I am Siddhipati and keep granting all kinds of fruits. I, being the father and mother of all, am called Jeshta Raja. It is as a protector, the regal authority, that I am worshipped by all, as the first worshipped. Just as in my puja, we sip water at the end on behalf of the Father, so following the same rule, after the end of all, I still remain. Vishnu, Shiva and other gods carry out all the administration, and therefore they are like my managers. My authority is only to the extent of my being worshipped first, before everything else. In other words, I do not do any work of administration, as that is the nature of my spirit. After saying that, Shri Gajanan Prabhu became silent. This concludes the 7th chapter of Ganesh Gita. The different kinds of Upasana Yoga, the yoga of worship, leads to the actualization of Ganesha and results in oneness in the state of Brahma. Therefore, this chapter is called Upasana Yoga, or the yoga of worship, surrendered at the holy feet of Srimad Ganesha. This is the end of chapter 17.